9, faith of our fathers.
Idle today.
I am the recording.
Pardon?
I am the recording. There to help us.
You are the recording. All right, the book of Hebrews. And if you would turn to Hebrews chapter 12. The word Hebrews, now we've started this, and last week it does not appear in the book of Hebrews. But it appears 47 times in the Bible. Written about 65 AD. It's written before the destruction of the temple. We discussed that about the question that I had asked my pastor at our last church. What happened to the Jew who trusted in the blood of the animals, the sacrifice in the Old Testament, since the temple was still up? And he couldn't answer it. His answer that he gave was, he didn't say God is fair. He said, well, just leave that up to God, and then you worry about today, this dispensation right now, which was a good answer. And it did come up. Somebody had called me about, what about the Aborigine? Usually a lot of people go there when they want to question things. And the heavens declare the glory of God. Now, what did we come up with? We came up with some verses. The heavens declare the glory of God. They can just look up and be under some kind of conviction.
Written on every man's heart.
Oh yeah, the law. And where's that? What book is it in? It's in Hebrews. The law is written in every, or is it Hebrews? The law is written in every man's heart. Oh, somebody's got a clicker. Is that Romans?
It sounds like Romans.
Is it written on or written in?
Yeah, you know what? I know a Ruckmanite would make an issue of that, on or in. Romans 2. I want to say Hebrews 2. I think it's in Romans 2. It's in Romans 2:15, which show the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness in their thoughts, the meanwhile accusing or else excusing one another. So there's that verse that shows that the law is there. I think I brought up the fact that in talking to missionaries, there's whole tribes of Africans that you're honored if you're a good liar. It's a great honor. And there are verses to support that. The Cretans are always liars. It doesn't say always, always. That's all, in every way, at all times, in any situation. Always liars, evil beasts, slow bellies. Evil beasts, and Paul likens evil people unto a beast. And a slow belly sounds like a lazy person. And so you have all those kind of people that some of these people in groups are just damned.
What about the Arabs? They'll say anything.
Pardon, sir?
The Arab Muslims.
Oh, they'll say anything. Well, I know when I was in school, one of our profs said that, well, the Quran is a mixture of the Bible. It's all discombobulated. They have, the stories are mixed up. Mary will be with Abraham, and the stories are just kind of mixed up. I obviously never read it. But when they say a peace-loving Muslim, my come away is that it's just like a backslid Baptist. They call themselves Baptist by name, but they don't know anything about the Bible. And those that are peace-loving Muslims are those that they don't know anything what the Quran says. They're just doing it. It's kind of like Jewish people. We call them, a lot of my customers were Jewish. They are Americanized. They're, what's the term? Well, they're worldly. They're secular. They're secular Jews. And when they go home, what do when they go to their parents' house? Those secular Jews. They're 40 years old. They're secular Jews. They made millions of dollars. And they go home for the weekend. They either get with the program or mom and dad are going to get mad. They're not going to make mom and dad mad. They know everything they're supposed to do. But they're secular Jews by day and real good Hebrews by night. Now, I'm not around them, but that's what I've heard, yes.
I hear the French that Jesuits are responsible for the Quran.
They're responsible for it?
Yeah, that's the way I hear it. They're responsible for Muslim anyway. They started,
For Muhammad?
Yeah, they started Muhammad so they could mix up the water.
Well, my sister married a Muslim.
So did some lady, Sally Field, played on TV.
So he was in the Air Force. He had to go home. She joined the Air Force to get over to Saudi, and we were friends with the Saudis. That was our strength in the Middle East at the time. Who was president?
Jimmy.
No. Before that, Nixon. Nixon was president. Then you got the Shah of Iran. That was Buddy Aran was a stabilizer there. We had a lot of equipment there. She wanted to get over there to be with him. Well, it never happened. My mother wrote to the king. It's a mess. To the king of Saudi Arabia. And when they found out that he was married, they forced him to divorce her. How do you become divorced? You say 3 times with a witness, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you, you're divorced. And so that had happened. He had come back over here to see her. He was a captain, I think. And they sent a colonel after him. And it was there was fear for their lives. And but my sister had said this: to be a good Muslim will kill if there's a Muslim between you and a Christian. This is what she told me. If there's a good Muslim between you, standing between you and a Christian, your duty is to kill the Muslim to get that Christian. Kill him to get the other. And it's bizarre.
Well, I mean, they sent like the Palestinians sending their children with bombs wrapped around them.
Palestinians send their kids in with bombs. Yeah. Yeah, so all this stuff that's going on in the country, you wonder if the whole, what keeps the powder keg from going off? What would we say? It's a pet answer. What would we say? Why isn't it exploding in this? There's signs of it with protests and all. Why doesn't it just, God's what? His restraining hand. That's what happened with, in the Old Testament with Moses and Pharaoh. God's restraining hand. And he would always remove his restraining hand from Pharaoh and then put it back on. That's the pet answer for that God has his restraining hand, but once it comes off, it's going to be hell on earth. So we would say that after the rapture, it's going to be a nightmare. That we are likened unto what flavor? Or we're likened unto light. We're likened unto salt. We're the salt of the earth. When the salt of the earth goes off the meat, what happens to the meat?
Spoils.
It goes to rot. So when the salt of the earth, that's us, when we leave, the earth will go to rot. And it won't take long.
I think most of the salt has already lost its savor.
And the salt has lost its savor. Yeah.
We're already there.
We're already there. It's just the way it is. And
that question about the Aborigines, Romans 1:20 is another.
oh yeah. It's you would find that in Romans.
Yeah, they're without excuse.
Yeah, they're without excuse.
That's what it says.
Yeah. Clearly be understood by the things that are made, even as term. So they are without excuse. So they're without excuse. What's going to happen to them if they're without excuse? They're reserved unto the fire, man. The day of God's wrath. There's no excuse. So they will burn. They will burn. And so I know we've come out of these things where I was at a breakfast. We had a prayer session, and after that everybody would go to breakfast. So we went to breakfast. This is on Sunday morning, and I'm sitting at the table with all preachers. There must have been 5 preachers at the table, and I was sitting there. And I drove in with the pastor, and he said a homosexual cannot be saved. And why did he say that? because they've been given over to a reprobate mind. I know Ruckman writes about that. He says, well, before you got saved, you had a reprobate mind. And so I said that if he had a gun, we've been with other Christians that they start a home church. By the time that's over, a dear friend of mine said, if there was a gun in the room, we would kill each other. It would have killed each other. And it was over what? Did you remember what it was over?
Children.
Over children. Probably because the house was spotless and one group of parents couldn't control their kids and they just let them run wild. And then the owners of the house didn't like that. They hated each other. It's just terrible what goes on. So anyway, he screamed at me in the restaurant in front of everybody. I just kept quoting verses about being effeminate, and of such were some of you. I said they got saved, and it just heated up. I didn't lose my temper. I just kept quoting verses. And but if you read through this in Romans, where it says they're without excuse, and this thing about that they're given over to a reprobate mind in verse 28, and then it goes on and on. It names off like the worst sin there is, and then it just goes on to listing all kinds of sins, tons of them. He just lists he goes from the worst sins to the least worst sins. So Paul is just naming them off. But back to Hebrews. Anyway, Hebrews 12. Nero, it was near the time of Nero. Christians are being persecuted. 12:4. Ye have not resisted unto blood, striving against sin. So we have not resisted unto blood here, at least in this country. Nobody's coming in here to kill us yet. Pardon?
I said yet.
Yet.
Mamdani going into New York, it's a little scary.
Pardon?
That Muslim Mamdani gonna get the mayoral election in New York, that's a little scary.
Well, you think he's going to win?
They've got all of the polling stuff, they got him like at 90%.
They're going to get what they voted for. So why are they voting for him? What's the underlying reason?
Socialism, he's gonna give them free stuff.
Money.
But he's also a Muslim and they're allowed to lie.
And they're allowed to lie. Yeah. Yeah, and it's always about the money. The author is not mentioned, number 5 here. It is sometimes called the orphan epistle. Epistle meaning letter. Ye are our epistles, written and known of all men, written in our hearts, read and known of all men. I think that's found in Ephesians. It was written to Jews by a Jew. So it's written to Jews, and so by a Jew is because of the pronoun us, we, brethren, and us. He associates himself with them. The place of the writing is uncertain. It was either written from Rome or to Rome. In chapter 13, verse 24. At the ending here, know ye that our brother Timothy is set at liberty, with whom I have come shortly. I will see you. Okay, so wherever he's jailed, he's going to be going to see. Paul's most likely the author. It's Jewish. He talks about being in bonds. He knows, obviously, Timothy. He mentions Rome. He says, pray for us, as we did with us, we brethren and us. And he quotes Habakkuk. In fact, what that verse, Habakkuk 2:4, Romans 1:17, Galatians 3:11, it appears that many times. That was the verse that led to what?
Reformation.
The Great Reformation. That is the one that Martin Luther, it stopped him in his tracks, and he couldn't get over that.
95 Theses.
Pardon?
And then he wrote the 95 Theses.
And then he wrote that, posted it on the door of wherever he was at. And by the way, he was a hunted man. They make a movie about that. He was a hunted man. Lutherans went through Germany, destroying all the statues, and it was German, so they destroyed a lot of statues. You'll have pictures depicting all that. In some of the art, you'll see that. Other likely authors. It won't help you make the banana bread, ladies. Paul, Luke, Barnabas, Silas, Philip, Apollos. Okay, authorship. It's anonymous. Most likely it's anonymous because of the fear that he may be attacked. They just had on TCM a movie marked Voltaire. Who was Voltaire? Now I know because I just
One of
said
them philosophers
one of them philosophers.
of the Greek writing, or French.
French. He was French.
His mother was Greek and his father was French.
All right, he was French, and he would write pamphlets and distribute them about revolt, revolution, very political, etc., etc. And he was the enemy of King Louis XV. And if they had listened to Voltaire, you probably wouldn't have had the French Revolution. Because what's her name? Marie Antoinette said, "Feed them cake, let them eat cake, eat cake." Isn't that what she said?
Yeah.
I don't know much about that, but just be glad you were not in Aristocrat. You would have got a shave, a real close shave from the neck up. All right, so Voltaire stays anonymous until the king finally finds out it is Voltaire. And I think the reason he was an enemy is because somebody in the inner circle was giving military secrets to the Germans. You saw the movie.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
You are or not?
All I'm saying is I agree, that's probably what happened, yeah.
Is that somebody was giving secrets, but it was supposed to be not Voltaire, it was somebody else. But so Voltaire in the movie, he gets the poetry from, he's friends with them, the Germans. He gets that, and it's supposed to be incriminating against him. But the other guy that says that he confesses, but Voltaire's burning everything, all the poetry. Well, the king wants it for proof, but he said, "I already burned it." But there was nothing in there but poetry. There was nothing to incriminate the guy. It was kind of funny at the end. Anyway, he remains anonymous because of he might be killed, and he's upsetting the business of the animal sacrifice. See, when Jesus went in and upset he upset the apple cart, and he drives the people out, he drives the animals out. What did he not drive out? What animals?
Lambs,
No? I think it was the turtle doves.
turtle dove.
He didn't open the cages up. One theory is that he respected the property of others. It's your property, but if I open the cages, it fly away. He said, "You haul it out." So they hauled it out of there. And the other was that Paul then was probably afraid that he might be killed.
Who was doing the animal sacrifices in front of Voltaire?
No, that we're off of Voltaire. That's another topic.
But you said something I never heard of.
What's that?
He was against the animal sacrifices.
No, I was back to Paul.
Voltaire.
No, I didn't say that. Yeah, it's recorded on tape, so you can look at it. If I said it, I apologize.
No, you said it was two things about Voltaire.
Well, I said that he got the poetry from the German, from the, not the chancellor, whatever they call him, from Germany, and the king thought it was incriminating against his right-hand man, which it wasn't. The right-hand man confesses, but all the while Voltaire's burning everything.
Yeah.
He burns all the evidence that wasn't evidence, just poetry.
All right.
Anyway, so we get them, we don't get them all the time, but they do come into the church. The authorship of the book Hebrews is anonymous because of the business of animal sacrifice. That's just one reason. Also, Paul was not respected by the Jews. Paul would have been hunted by the Jews, and what would they have done with Paul? They would have killed him. And Paul says, if I be guilty of death, he's willing to die. And who would be killing? The Jews would, and Rome wouldn't have let the Jews do that because you had to go through their law and their process. But Rome would have killed them. And then you get people who are against capital punishment. And they come into the church, and they will, as soon as the last amen is given, they're in my face, arguing. And then I said, well, come back tonight, I'll preach on capital punishment. He said, well, bring it up. I'll bring up the verses in the New Testament. And then as soon as service is over, on a Sunday night after I preach that, they're in my face. They don't agree. They just don't agree with that. But Paul agreed with capital punishment. And so what do I always say about when Trump came down the escalator? I say the escalator. Trump is gonna tip over what? The apple cart. He's going to mess with the business as usual about the money, and it's going to go across party lines. He's going to have Republicans and Democrats against him because of everybody's fingers in the pot. Now, is that a true statement? I don't know. I just assume it. All right, the difference between Romans and Hebrews, as Paul is, we assume, the author, the necessity of the Christian religion. It's only through the blood sacrifice of Jesus Christ. And then the superiority of the Christian religion. It's superior to what is the word that is used in the book of Hebrews? And I'm looking for it right now. And right now I don't see it. It is. I do use it on the second page here. What is the word used? If one thing is superior to another, one thing is what? Better. How many times does the word appear? I don't know why I don't have it in here.
A much better sacrifice?
Yeah, I think it's used 13 times. In other words, Jesus is better than angels. Jesus is better than the law. Jesus, and he gives all of these arguments that Jesus is better than. So in other words, instead of the Jews losing all, he's arguing with them that they really had gained all. Now, when I was in school, one of the profs said that they will use the book of Romans to argue, to teach an attorney how to systematically argue a case, step by step by step, in a certain order, in which to argue a case, to win a case. Obviously, the lawyer wants to win the case. And so, in the book of Hebrews, to win the case with the Jews is systematically, you've got to tear down every one of their idols, whatever they're trusting in. And he does this, that Jesus is better than this, Jesus is better than this, Instead of losing all, they gain all. It's sometimes called the fifth gospel, number 12. Four gospels speak of Christ's work on earth. The book of Hebrews speaks of Christ's work in heaven. What is Hebrews 4:14? We should know this without going there. Isn't that coming as prayer? Coming before the throne of grace? Or is that 15? Read 14. What's 14? Because I see cheaters.
15 is infirmities.
What, 15 is what?
Isn't that where he is talking about our infirmities?
Oh, and then 16 is coming before the throne of grace. Read 14.
14 is seeing then that we have a great high priest that is passed into the heavens, Jesus, Son of God, let us hold fast our profession.
Okay, so,
Holding to the throne of grace, that's verse 16.
okay, go. All right, so 14, 15, 16, they all flow together. But read 14 again.
Seeing then that we have a great high priest that is passed into the heavens, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold fast our profession.
All right, so the great high priest is working for us in heaven, and we can come before the throne of grace boldly, where he is working on our behalf. Hebrews is the companion book to Leviticus. What is the companion book to Revelation? Daniel. And that will be coming up here soon. Book of Hebrews, the companion book to Leviticus. It contains 96 direct references to the Old Testament. And we'll stop here at number 17. The argument here, instead of losing all, they had gained all. They had gained all. So you have to destroy whatever it is that people are trusting in for them to trust in what they need to trust in. And instead of losing all, they had gained all. And not only can you do that with Jews, you can do that with any group of people. You've got to knock down their idols first, whatever their idols are. All right? And so we'll pick that up there again next week. Father, bless now the preaching. In Christ's name.